It is possible to overcome the energy crisis in South Africa and build a sustainable energy future. Solutions do exist, and some are leading the way. South Africa is in the midst of a landmark power crisis which has resulted in devastating short-term and long-term effects on South Africa's economy and its people. With increased load shedding and the rising and crippling cost of electricity, municipalities play an integral role in helping to resolve the energy crisis by providing alternative, innovative solutions to allow the South African electricity supply industry and their economies to regain lost ground and hopefully put the country on a path to accelerated economic growth. In this Future Cities Africa episode, we first look at how Msunduzi Municipality is dealing with the energy crisis, whereafter we take a broad look at the transformation of the electricity supply industry in South Africa. My guests today are Sinkol Sibiya, representing Msunduzi Municipality, and James Beattie, Chief Executive Officer at Enpower Trading. Sinkol, welcome. It's lovely to speak to you. Could you explain the current policy and regulatory framework for electricity wheeling in your municipality?
Yeah, no, currently we don't have a policy in place. However, we are currently busy trying to develop one because there's a very huge demand from our customers when it comes to wheeling, and the policy is one of those things that are hindering us to assist our customers with the issue of wheeling.
What factors have influenced the development of regulations or guidelines?
Yeah, no, the factors that are currently influencing development of the policy, number one is the issue of tariffs. We need to develop those tariffs. We need to have a guideline in terms of how are they going to be utilized, and also the conditions in terms of how wheeling is going to be done within our network, because there are different forms of wheeling that has to be catered. The use of system charges is one of those aspects that we need to look at when it comes to the wheeling framework. And also, there are different types in terms of there are customers that want to do it within our network, and there are those that want to do it externally. So the issue of passing of credits is also one of the factors that is influencing the wheeling framework or policy, because there have to be guidelines in terms of how is it going to be done to protect the interest of both parties, being the municipality and the municipal customers.
What is the approach for the guidelines to be constantly aligned to the changing energy trends and customers' needs?
The approach at the current moment is for us as a municipality, because we are a category B municipality, we don't have enough resources. So we are working with the stakeholders that are offering help. Those stakeholders are, to name a few, there is SALGA, who is now and again willing to assist us to develop the framework and the policy. There is Sustainable Energy Africa. They are one of those that are helping us. We are also engaging NERSA. However, they're indicating that they don't have guidelines at the moment. We're also working with the fellow municipalities. The likes of George Municipality is one of those that have been upcoming in terms of assisting us to develop our wheeling policy and framework. And also Egurele Municipality, they've also been assisting together with ESCOM. We also engage MISA on this aspect, and also they're helping us to develop the wheeling policy and framework.
Sinkol, what is the municipality's vision to achieve green, affordable, secure energy?
Msunduzi Municipality is one of those municipalities in the country that believes in green energy. We envision ourselves being a municipality that's supplied by a big portion of renewable energy, if possible, even 100% renewable. But we know it's going to take time for us to get there. But we do believe in renewable energy being a combination, not only solar, but wind is also considered, hydro is also considered. You know, KZN, we do have a huge amount in terms of flows and the dams. So we believe in renewable energy. We're also trying to achieve the issue of tariff spikes. So we understand that especially solar can assist us in terms of maintaining a fixed increase over a certain term with regards to our tariffs, which is one of those things that we struggle with, because we've got a combination of different customers, and most of them are residential and small businesses. So they struggle a lot if the tariffs changes with the huge spike. They find it difficult to adjust to the new tariff. So renewable energy is going to assist us as well in terms of ensuring the increases over a period of time, which will assist us as a municipality to plan and also assist our customers. We also have on our current IDP a value of 100 megawatts that we want to achieve in the next 5 years. And this is a start for us because at the moment, we are still trying to find our feet in the renewable energy world. So we do believe in renewable energy and also envision ourselves as Msunduzi Municipality being running on clean renewable energy.
What benefits have the municipality identified through wheeling for the municipality, and what benefits has the municipality identified through wheeling for the customer?
Okay, for the municipality, there are a number of benefits. One of them is with the knowledge that we have received through trainings and also reading about wheeling, we now know that there won't be any reduction in terms of the sales volume from our customers. So it's a benefit to us because we won't be losing any revenue due to wheeling or use of renewable energy. And also in cases whereby the PV plants are going to be planted within our network, or it can be also wind farms, depending on the form of a primary source of renewable energy. That's going to beautify our city and also create jobs for our community. So that's one of those benefits that we have. We have also spotted a benefit in terms of our consumption on the ESCOM side, should wheeling be done internally, reducing, which will reduce our bill in terms of how much we pay ESCOM for energy. And that's one of those benefits that we have identified. And in terms of the benefit to our customers, we have big customers in the city. They're exporting their products worldwide. And there are huge demands from customer support in terms of their products being green. So us allowing them and also working with them to ensure that wheeling happens will assist them to stay in the market and also be competitive in terms of where they export their product, and also manage to keep their customers as we also manage to sustain them as a municipality.
Sinkel, is there demand from customers to wheel energy, and how has this demand been communicated to the municipality?
Yes, no, customers are sending communication to us to indicate to us the challenges that they're facing with regards to them selling their products to their customers, which are local and also customers abroad. So they write to us to indicate their interest for wheeling and also the reasons why they have to have a mixture of coal and renewable energy on their products to comply with the demands from abroad in terms of their products.
How is the municipality communicating to customers the intention to commence wheeling energy?
We are planning a workshop, which is going to happen very soon. So we're going to be inviting all customers, commercial and industrial customers, to update them in terms of what we have done so far as a municipality when it comes to wheeling and also where we stand. There were a number of reports that were wrote to council, and we are at this position now open to wheeling, even though there are restrictions on the current ways that we can, at the moment, explore wheeling as a municipality. So we are planning a workshop where we're going to meet with our customers and also stakeholders to share with them what we have done and also discuss with them the challenges that we are facing, and also calling for collaboration in terms of us conquering those challenges and achieving the goals.
In comparison to larger municipalities that may have embraced electricity wheeling more aggressively, what specific challenges or concerns has your municipality faced in adopting a more progressive stance on this energy distribution approach?
Yeah, no, the biggest challenge that we face as Msunduzi Municipality is the issue of deposits, basically ESCOM demands for us to be able to wheel through ESCOM network before the energy can come into our network. So the issue of deposits, it's a huge challenge because our revenue is very big at the deposit. They want a 3-month deposit, which is a very big amount for us, and we are not more into profit, so we don't reserve a lot of money to accommodate for such situations in cases where ESCOM demands or requires a deposit from our side. So the issue of deposit has been a very big challenge, And also the issue of NERSA not having a guideline for wheeling, it has been a very big challenge because we rely more on them, especially when it comes to tariff. So if they don't provide a guideline to us to guide us on how we should develop the use of system, tariffs, etc., it becomes a very big challenge. And also the issue of the regulations, legislation, and also MFMA and National Treasury when it comes to contracts that a municipality can have with service providers or third parties. That one as well has become a challenge because we are not very clear in terms of being comfortable to sign long-term contracts, like for instance, contracts for 25 years. It's a very big challenge. So those are the challenges basically that we are currently facing as Msunduzi Municipality.
And what are being done to solve these challenges that you've mentioned?
Yes, we're currently engaging with the stakeholders, more especially those that are above local government, the likes of SALGA and National Treasury, MISA, and Sustainable Energy Africa. It's one of those that are assisting us. So basically, so far, we have formed a task team through the suggestion from our current municipal manager. So we're working hand in hand with National Treasury, SALGA, MISA, to try and resolve these issues, including that one of deposit from ESCOM. So the bigger organizations in the local government are assisting us to have discussions, to prepare to have discussions with ESCOM to try and conquer the issue of deposit, because our customers are really trying. They really need to wheel, and that has been one of those bottlenecks for us to be unable to allow wheeling, especially in a case whereby it includes or involves ESCOM networks. Where it's done locally, we don't have any problems, but where energy has to come from outside the province, we currently having that bottleneck. But the stakeholders are helping us to prepare. Very soon we'll be engaging with ESCOM. We've engaged with them previously, but it wasn't successful. So currently we are trying to join hands to prepare, and then we'll engage them as a collective. Hopefully we will come right this time.
Are there any collaborative efforts or partnerships with neighboring municipalities and or the private sector partners in place to facilitate electricity wheeling? And how do you envision collaboration with these entities to optimize the benefits of electricity wheeling while ensuring grid reliability and equitable distribution of resources?
Yes, we are currently collaborating. As Msunduzi Municipality, we are open to any source of information or any help or assistance in a way. So we're currently collaborating in 3 ways. We are collaborating with our local district municipality, which is Msunduzi District Municipality. So we had a number of sessions with them. In some of those, businesses were invited, and they were there to participate so that we can also hear from them the challenges that they're facing and the agency in terms of wheeling. We are also engaging third parties. Some of our big customers, they've hired third parties to assist them and us in terms of working together on wheeling to prepare all the things that are required and those that the municipality doesn't have currently. So we're also collaborating with our customers, and also we collaborating with our fellow government departments, the likes of MISA and National Treasury. NERSA is one of those that we're collaborating with, as well as SALGA. And now and again, Sustainable Energy does come and assist as they are partnering with SALGA when it comes to the issue of renewable energy. So whenever SALGA is present, now and again, they are also present. So we're also collaborating with them. So we're collaborating in those 3 ways that I've outlined.
Sinko, thank you. James, lovely to have you back on the show. Why is it important for a municipality to future-proof its energy model? And how does Enpower trading play a role in assisting municipalities with this?
Thank you very much, Dan, and thanks for having me on the podcast again. I think very good question. As usual, it's paramount for the municipalities, as you said, to be thinking around future-proofing in this market, given how much change has already happened and how much is coming. And one of the specific examples we like to refer to is just the at the moment, lack of access for customers inside the municipalities to access cleaner, more affordable energy solutions as the market design currently stands. So we've spoken about this in some of our previous episodes as well, that customer is king. The customer inside the municipality is getting more options, as the regulatory environment is changing. There are also other pressures on customers to decarbonize, given kind of carbon border adjustment mechanism exposures to foreign markets. Some of these customers and municipalities are exporting to those markets and have to focus on those types of concerns for their business. So, and then you've obviously also got just various green-minded or cleaner-minded energy players inside municipalities, generally speaking. So with more choice and more concern around decarbonizing and wanting to have access to a cleaner, more affordable solution, you've got pressures building on the municipalities themselves in terms of how can they cater for delivering that product to customers. And so, with that in mind, it feeds back into future-proofing and the idea of future-proofing. We believe, as mentioned, in other episodes as well, that the wheeling product is very much a part of the future-proofing that these municipalities need to make available for customers to stay on their networks. Obviously, over and above other solutions that are already being looked at, such as rooftop solar installations and the behind-the-meter type setups. So we think that, as mentioned, the traded wheeled product is very much part of that whole holistic solution to future-proof a municipality and ensure that there is a mitigation of off-grid flight. Customers remain whole and happy to stay on the network. Thanks.
James, how does a municipality fast-track this future-proofing of its energy model? What challenges are in the way and how can these be addressed?
It's a very good question. Obviously, there are myriad challenges to think about. I think, first and foremost would be essentially understanding. So I think we've already ticked a lot of that, especially in the larger A-grade municipalities, understanding what and how wheeling benefits these local markets. So I think that's already ticked, in my view, right? In terms of the second big issue we see to fast tracking, really capacitation is very important as well, right? So you need capacitation in terms of technologically, so actually having systems in place in municipalities that can manage and automate the physical, implementation and operations of wheeling to allow for those municipalities to be technologically capacitated. We've been working a lot with the private sector, with various companies that provide wheeling technological solutions, as well as with organizations such as Salga, as well as others, the IFC and various multilaterals that are assisting with the delivery of these technology solutions into municipalities. But I do think that's of course a requisite delivery that needs to happen for us to actually have wheeling in these markets. You also do need, of course, it's been mentioned and by Sinsol as well in your previous meeting, is you do need the regulator and let's call it Eskom and the various government stakeholders to create the wheeling policies for these municipalities. So you need the framework to be in place, right? You need there to be wheeling policy, wheeling tariffs, and this to have obviously caught up for us to be able to deliver wheeling. A lot of work has been done, Dan, by the authorities. Of course, as you're aware, even the ERA has now been, in principle, passed through the first stages of Parliament. We do have the elections now coming up in May, so we don't expect anything major to happen before then, but May's only 2 months away now. So I think, there has been a lot of progress. I think in terms of regulatory progress, in terms of wheeling policies rolling out, especially in the A-grade municipalities, I think that's all moving. It's slower than everyone would want, but we are progressing. The next big hurdle, I think, will be technological capacitation of these municipalities so that we can rapidly roll out and scale up wheeling for once the regulatory framework has caught up. So I think that touches on some of those points. I would say again, to reiterate, we are seeing progress, Dan. It's important to mention that it's not like you're banging on a rock. I think we have seen a lot of progress in various municipalities. Everyone wants things to move faster, of course, but after hopefully the elections, the pace could even quicken again. Thank you.
What municipal criteria does Enpower Trading look for when determining the wheeling readiness of a specific region?
Look, one of the first things we have to look at, and there's a whole matrix, is of course the political stability and standing of the various municipalities. As you can imagine, there is around, I believe it's 278 municipalities in South Africa. That's a lot of municipalities. Obviously, as a private sector business and a for-profit business, we need to be careful around which municipalities we're going to go and engage with and that have the best chance of kind of, reaching operationalization. And so as a result of that, one of the first things, of course, is just the stability of that municipality, political stability, as well as, I would say, of course, another factor is their balance sheet and bankability standing, as also deemed important by the authorities, including Eskom. As you know, Dan, there's been this kind of endless, it is a bit of a back and forth optimization, but in order for wheeling to be delivered, various municipalities, as Sinsol also mentioned in his interview with you, need to have a level of bankability, which remains a challenge. But of course, as us looking to deliver wheeling, we need to have an understanding on which municipalities are bankable enough to meet the current requirements or the projected requirements. We think it is going to relax through time. Treasury is involved. We're trying to advise Treasury as well and other stakeholders, because our ultimate goal is for wheeling to be opened up in all of the markets and for it to be, a fair marketplace. But those are two important things. So political stability, bankability. The other important one, which I think talks to what I was discussing earlier, is also technological capacitation. So, it's a fantastic result for us to achieve a use of system agreement or to have, be able to wheel on paper. But once you have that agreement in place, as I was discussing previously, we need to be able to physically operate and distribute electricity in a network. And so the next big hurdle and step is, of course, therefore, technological capacitation. So sometimes those two, those various elements are being delivered in parallel to each other. Sometimes they're in series. We are working with various municipalities in terms of all of those different elements. But yeah, those are major considerations for us when moving into a municipality in terms of delivering the wheeling product.
James, what benefits does electricity trading bring to the South African marketplace? And why is Enpower Trading so well positioned to enable this? What are some of your competitive advantages?
Yeah, as we've discussed in previous episodes with you, and I think is becoming more well known now in the market at large, the wheeling and trading product, I think, has been established now and well understood, even by commercial lenders in South Africa. There's been big articles in the press from the likes of Nedbank and others that it clearly does deliver a value proposition. Some of those value propositions in the earlier stage of the market are services such as aggregation of energy from a number of different generators, typically green generators. So, producing solar generation, wind generation, in the future, some hydro from East Africa, geothermal, that type of blend of cleaner, more affordable energy. The traded product in the first instance is aggregating and blending all of that energy together and delivering that to other parts of the country, including inside municipalities like Msunduzi, we hope, as well as others, to customers downstream. So, it's cleaner and it's greener and can be delivered as a product of green and blended basket of energy to customers. So I think that's, part one of probably what we would have to say is the part one of physical trading of electricity in SA. As the market evolves through time, I think you get other benefits from trading that will become possible. So services such as providing hedging services for producers and consumers, so locking in pricing of the commodity of power, whether on a longer term basis or even on a monthly basis, you can provide hedging services. That's an old and very well-known service that trading does avail to a marketplace. Folks want to lock in prices, have a level of price certainty over a period of time. Trading provides for that. You'll also, I think, as the market evolves, have traditional services such as balancing services. At the moment, of course, the national utility is performing a grid balancing mechanism for the whole market at large. Of course, that's a service that the private marketplace eventually can avail to the market, right? So ensure that the system remains balanced. And for doing that, obviously, traders collect a fee for helping to retain balance on the system. You've got various other value propositions from trading that exist, but I think maybe best to talk about those in future because it's still earlier stage right now. I think another one though worth mentioning is just offering shorter term pricing for customers. So that's easy to talk about. So in other words, at the moment, the traditional model is buying power on a 20-year term contract. Customers are very interested to look at buying power on shorter term contracts, and the trading solution can provide that type of more tailored solution, with a shorter offtake contract whilst managing those risks internally, in terms of us as a trader off-taking on a possibly longer term duration and selling that power on shorter term tenors to customers where we can make that possible. So I think those are some more immediate benefits. I think you spoke about Enpower trading, what's our differentiator, or one major differentiator we see of ourselves compared to competitors. We do believe that we are born out of, I guess I'd say there's two major ones. One is we are born out of or have natural shareholders in here in another company that is a large IPP in this country. So we have natural access to clean, affordable generation coming into our business. We have signed, as you're aware, already a 150 megawatt solar generation PPA with that company. And so that provides a natural source of what we call in trading length into our portfolio to be able to sell that clean power into the system. The other, I think, major value proposition is, or differentiator rather, is most of our kind of board and our shareholders, as well as even some of the team that we're building, are real experienced multi-decade even commodities traders. So I think that is something that does differentiate us. When we look at a lot of our competitors, we see that we think our trading expertise is very, very strong when compared to our competitors. And trading is actually a learned, very important. It's a skill. It's like learning how to I guess be a doctor or something like that. It is something that is learned and understood. And so I think that is one differentiator for us, is that we really do have decades worth of experience in this business in terms of managing risk, in terms of delivering a complete traded solution for customers. So I think those are important differentiators that we see with regards to Enpower compared to our competitors.
In closing, how does wheeling and trading enable municipalities to leverage their grid to increase municipal revenue?
It talks a lot to, in my opinion, this concept of surplus revenue neutrality. We talk about off-grid flight in municipalities. We've mentioned that earlier. If without change and without opening up the networks and giving customers options, customers are incentivized to possibly seek alternative arrangements and leave the local municipal network, as we've discussed previously. What that does is it creates off-grid flight, and off-grid flight negatively impacts in the short, medium, and even long term, revenues for the municipalities themselves. So what we believe strongly is that by allowing trading and wheeling to become a service in these networks, you are creating a solution that allows for customers to access the cleaner, more affordable electricity on the network and stay on the network. It's as simple as that. And if they stay on the network, you're able to, what comes with that is all of the benefits, right? So job preservation for many people in municipalities on those jobs, collections for the municipalities in terms of revenue from power-related services, which, by the way, in many municipalities, as we've said previously, is more than 25% of their receivables. So we're talking about a service that really does move the needle and is important to preserve on these networks. So, with allowing wheeling, your job preservation, you are increase not only the current state of electricity supply on the network. We believe that you'll actually see a potential increase in electricity supply on the network, right? So not only preserving the status quo, but an incremental uplift on top of that in terms of revenue generated, in terms of increasing what we call the throughput or the level of supply on that network, right? The more the electrons that are flowing on that network, because customers are happy, the more the municipalities will receive revenues, the more jobs it will create, the more sustainability there is. It also will allow for, budget for municipalities to focus on, traditional infrastructure services like grid reinforcement. We've spoken about this before, specialization. So you allow, the private sector wheelers and traders, specialists in their field to operate on the grid, whilst allowing the municipalities to redirect or direct revenues towards grid strengthening, reinforcement, job creation, all those types of services and delivery for economic development in those networks. So, that remains our view. And I know there's a lot of debate in the market about it. We just think that this is a fantastic natural sort of private-public partnership opportunity where you let the private sector come in and facilitate kind of a win-win solution across the stakeholders with availing of wheeling in the network. Thank you.
A big thank you to Sinkol Sibia and James Beattie for this insightful conversation on Future Cities Africa.